Welcome to all to the International Symposium on Recent Challenges in Engineering. With the immense pleasure, I now take this opportunity to introduce the speaker, Dr. Sriram Virdavolu, CEO of Data Security Council of India, DSCI, Cyber Security Center of Excellence, Hyderabad. Sir is a senior management executive with over 2 decades of experience in IT, ITC, telecom industry with an excellent track record of progressive achievements. Previously, Sir headed Information Sciences at IT Hub. Sir holds a PhD in Open Innovation in ICT conferred by Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. Sir has also delivered large complex mission critical IT, ITC enterprise software for product solutions and consulting engagements. He has led multi-million-dollar global engagements with top and mid-tier customers in the IT, ICT, telecom, analytics industry in several countries including USA, Germany, Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, UK, Africa and India. He is also a TOGAF 9 certified enterprise architect and a project management professional. He is passionate about innovation, AI, ML, cloud analytics, digital services and agile processes with high quality. So I would like to request you, sir, to address the gathering about cybersecurity and privacy.
Yeah. Okay. So as you know, things have been delayed today, so I had to sort of adjust this, and after lunch I had to go somewhere else. There's a session on 5G going on, so what I'll do is I'll try to pick things from different slides in order to give you things of relevance to you, and so that you have good takeaways when you walk out of here. And then you can shape your own action plan based on the information presented here. Okay. So basically in a 1 hour session now, what I can do is point you to certain directions because it's a vast field. Cyber security has about 500 fields within it. Okay, right from chip level security to cyber forensics to cloud level, IoT, policy making, weaponization of internet, social media, social engineering, social media, cyber security, and so on, and privacy. Okay, regulation side, technology side, processes side, business side, so many aspects are there. So what I'll do is I'll just touch upon a few points and then see that how they're there. Please feel free to interrupt if I'm getting too down deep into one area, or if you want to ask questions, feel free. Okay? So it's an open interactive session. So how many of you are students? Please raise your hand. Okay. So research scholars, PhD research scholars, you're out? Or normal? How? Your PhD research scholars?
Yes.
Okay, good. So hopefully how many are into cyber security research? None? And research scholars in other areas, isn't it? Okay. So hopefully this should motivate you. So let me just get started off, a little wake-up call. Cyber crime created more than $1.5 trillion in profit. Not a thing to be happy about in 2018. Okay, so this is a conservative estimate, which means it could be much more. Second, if cybercrime were a country, it would rank 13th in terms of GDP. Worldwide, 2018 data. And social media related cybercrime generated 3.25 billion in global revenues per year. Indian consumers lost 18.5 billion per year due to cyber crimes, right? That means this 2017 data is much more now. It's changing exponentially and very rapidly. So there's a crime committed every 10 minutes. Okay, this is the state of affairs. Here is the cybersecurity market in India driven by digital adoption. So if you look at these data, you would see that you have 1.2 billion, world's largest unique digital identity program, mobile subscriptions, engaged media users, smartphone connections, internet subscribers. So public digital platforms have enabled inclusive growth for India's digital growth. And look at these statistics, they are staggering. So what does this indicate? That for many purposes and for our needs and for as an economy, you are moving towards digitalization very rapidly. And hence the need for cyber security. Agreed? Yeah. So our lifestyle, our economy, our society, everything is moving towards digitalization. And most of our laws, frameworks, systems, processes, whatever, whether it be trade laws, whether it is criminal laws, they are all designed for physical goods and physical structures and for human beings, not for virtual goods, cyber world, cyberspace. Okay, to give you an example, you would have any business going on normally, you would see outside, that would be there. But if it were online, then someone from another country can hack it. Okay, and you would have sharing of assets, say a physical asset which is there, you cannot share. One person uses it at one time. But in the virtual world, that's the premise of cloud, that an asset can be shared by different parties. So fundamental differences are there. There are no geographic boundaries online, and this makes it doubly or many-fold dangerous. So it's essential that we have rules, laws, systems, processes, tools, everything to set this in place. India is gearing up to become a global destination for cyber security. This should interest you. It's a $235 billion global market. That means a $231 billion global market, of which India share, even if you are conservative, you take 10% of it, you can get the global market as 35 billion. 1,000 cybersecurity products, 1 million cybersecurity professionals, and so on. 60 to 70% year-on-year growth. It should interest you. Okay. So 8 out of 15 global companies have product development and R&D centers in India. Just this year, yesterday night, I was compiling the statistics to send to somebody. So you see, just this year, Amazon has opened its largest office here in India, in Hyderabad. You have, I've been speaking to Micron, has opened an office, you know, the large storage memory devices manufacturer. Then you have Intel, which has opened its large center here, and so on. OnePlus is a Chinese mobile manufacturer, has opened a center here. And you see these technology global hotspots. I thought it is important for you to get the context here. So these are big numbers, very big numbers. So there's a product ecosystem, there's a market, there are technology providers, product dev, and global hotspot. Basically, you can shape your career in this area using all the fields which are there, using the trainings and using this information itself. Okay? Then you should approach us. Let's have a look at the cyber threat evolution. 1977, how it's going to 2019. Okay. Earlier were basic weapons, basic research, then applied research, early adopters, viruses, hacking websites, malicious codes, advanced worm and trojans. You see how it is getting more sophisticated and widespread. Then identity threat, phishing, DDoS. You know what DDoS is? Distributed denial of service attack. That means somebody does not hack your, is unable to hack your system, but we will prevent many others from entering. It is like saying that you will crowd off the front gate, to a mob crowds the front gate, so the real guys cannot get in. The people who need to get cannot get in. Then you have cyber espionage and warfare, and now you have the most dangerous, intelligent, high-scale, critical infrastructure, state-sponsored, and insider threats. About one-third, a full one-third of them are insider threats. Okay, that means inside people leaking information, or inside people causing damage. What do you think happened in Punjab National Bank? Some insiders got together and manipulated the system so that they could loot a lot of money. Okay, the top management, was it aware, unaware, we do not know. Okay, so this is the case. So you see, autonomous, AI, ML based, and IoT. These are the areas that are getting very, very, very sophisticated and large scale. Scaling up. Okay. So cyber exploitation activities becomes more sophisticated, more targeted, and more serious as the weapons become more advanced. So cyber security has been identified as the fifth zone of warfare after land, sea, air and space. Okay. From space also they carry out espionage activities, right? The satellites can zoom in, focus, and then there are weapons now to take out satellites also. So basically this one slide gives in a nutshell how things are moving from significant threats to it has gone to critical. It can attack your critical infrastructure. Okay. Next, shrinking time frame from knowledge of vulnerability to release of exploits. That means you know about a vulnerability, immediately people are exploiting it. How much time does it take? So earlier it used to take days, if not months, shrunk to hours, then it has shrunk to minutes, and today it is seconds or milliseconds. That means there are bots out there who are waiting to grab you for your vulnerability. Heaven help you if you are running something which is very old, or there are loops, exploits, what you call vulnerabilities there. So basically your risk factor will depend on three things. What are the three things? Your vulnerability, right? Then the threats, then the impact. That is something like, I say, akin to healthcare. So in healthcare, supposing you are there, so all of us are there. So vulnerability is supposing I am weaker than him, then I am prone to catching a cold or whatever is a disease. The second thing is how widespread is that disease. If there is flu running in the what you call entire society right now or in the city, that poses a greater risk, right? That is proportional to that. Okay, one is my weakness. He may not catch it. I may catch it. Another thing is it is widespread in this city. It is not widespread in another city. I stand chance of catching it. Another thing is the impact. Is it a deadly one which will kill me, or is it a flu which will take me out for 1 week? Okay, so it's the impact. So maybe it's a multiplication of all of this, or it is this. This is how cyber risk is assessed. I'm just giving you a very rough, simple one. There are more and more sophisticated mathematical models. Okay, so that is there. So you see here how this risk has gone. The scope of damage. Cognitive networks, PDA, exploits, compromises, disruption of critical infrastructure, virtualization of exploits, memory scraping, hardware base, and so on. That is all over the place. Deep down in the networks to your chip level, down up to your social media networks, to hacking, to weaponization of internet, everywhere. Do you think you can read all of this from there? I think not. Okay, this is just to indicate how many areas are there, different types of areas. You look at mission critical assets, you have data security, application security, endpoint, network and perimeter, outside threat protection, you have monitoring on this side, you have this policy management, how you are going to do it, prevention, every single area including say honeypots or DLPs, an entire area for research and which is there. You can find it, I didn't create this. So, thanks for the, see, I can help you out. If people want more, please do reach out to us. Okay, the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, which has been newly formed. So about me, I head the Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, which is DSCI body. DSCI is Data Security Council of India, which is the cyber security arm of NASSCOM. How many of you know about NASSCOM? A lot of you should be, because you are in computer science. NASSCOM is National Association of Software Service Companies, which is the largest IT industry body in India. All the biggies you can think of, whether it is Infosys or IBM or Microsoft or Oracle, all of them are part of it here in India. So the apex body for cybersecurity, the cybersecurity wing of it is called DSCI. They have set up an office called Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, the Center of Excellence here. There is an incubation center, a training area, a space which is what you call for experience zone, and so on. That will be how it is in Kukatpally. Okay, please do visit sometime. But you should create. Yeah, let me go on. These are the different domains. Whether you take, that means from education, security operation, governance, risk assessment, framework and standards. These are the different areas. See, there is architecture here, cryptography and all fall here. So different areas are there. And now, of course, quantum key distribution, QKD, quantum computing has become a very important area because it renders, what is this slide? This is about chip security. I thought I would just put it up. Okay, chip level security, and all these are taken from different sources. They are not my IP. Just put them for the sake of sharing, not for the sake of showing that I have created my own best presentation. Okay, so you see that there is this IC, integrated chip life cycle. So you see the IP vendor who is there, to the SOC, system on chip design house, to the foundry, to the deployment. At every level, there are attack vectors. Okay, there are attack vectors. That means you can insert Trojan hardware at hidden backdoor. So supposing you had a USB drive, then it can be inserted there at that stage so that all the USB drives which are there will carry that virus. You cannot remove it because it is embedded into the hardware. You get my point? That is happening. So right from the foundry level, you see IP piracy, cloning, Trojan in design by tools, implant Trojan, overproduction, cloning, side channel attacks, reverse engineering, scan-based attacks, and IC counterfeiting. All these are the attack vectors, and there are many, many countermeasures here. Right? IP trust verification, watermarking in IP, hardware obfuscation, Trojan detection in IC, hardware authentication, side channel resistant design, and secure scan design. All of them very rich food areas for research and for studies and for future career. Okay? What are side channel attacks? Anyone? Side channel attacks are those which are not direct attacks. It is like saying that I'll figure out what is going on into your house without getting into the house. Just by observing what is going on outside. Which kind of people are coming? How have they gathered? What time are they coming in? What are they going out? What are they carrying? What clothes are they wearing? You get my point? Okay, from outside what does it look like? Have you decorated the house? What time are the lights off? On? Okay, you can gather a great deal of information by merely checking what kind of posts are coming in your letterbox and examining it. Okay? Those are side channel attacks. You have not attacked the house or broken the lock and got inside, but you can gather a lot of information. So simply like measuring the power consumption of a chip can let them know that yes, some decryption is happening, cryptography. So it is something like what I say is that the water pipe kind of analogy. So if you assume that water, data is like water, and you are sending data from this building to that building, let's say. Okay, and in the middle there are no leakages. Nobody has tapped the data and looked at it and put it back. So that data is going, right? Now if guy doesn't cut, he has no access to that pipe without breaking it. So supposing it's a rubber pipe, a guy can just put his fingers on it and measure the pressure of the pipe. And if there were some insider who wanted to leak information, he can just send junk, but still he can convey all the information. How? We have a protocol. Let's say I am sending newspaper information only, newspaper article. Okay. So if I send one article a minute, one line a minute, it means it is a 0. If I send 3 or 4 lines a minute, it means it is a 1. Okay. Now, I have some secret military document that I want to leak out to somebody. So the first page, the entire document design or submarine design or whatever it is, the bits are it's bits and pieces, right? It's all bits and bytes, the 1 zeros and 1s. Okay. So I will simply send 0, 1. Send one line of the newspaper article. That's the first one. First bit gone. Second one. Send 2 lines. Next, send zeros once, which essentially I have transmitted all the contents of the full document to you. The entire submarine design I have transmitted off. But when a person catches me and asks, and he examines the data which has gone out, it is some newspaper article or some junk or movies. I have not transmitted any information, I deny it. It is just by manipulating the timing. Did you all get it, what I am trying to say? Right? So the actual information sent is not important at all. It is junk, it is some newspaper information. Just that the first one which I sent was 1 line, next I sent 2 lines. First line means 0, 2 lines means 1. Like that I have transmitted off the contents of some other secret document out to the person. These are dangerous side channel attacks in which you can transmit off the entire thing and still go uncaught for years on it. Okay. Okay. On to other things. Actually, if you had a hardware security lab here, it would be great. You have to set up because it is required in 5G. Now, what is happening? Some companies are being blamed around the world that their telecom equipment has things which are okay. Some vendors from some countries that their telecom equipment have backdoors built in which they are trying to attack and take off all the information, and even some countries have banned that telecom equipment. Okay, see what's going on? Okay, so because they suspect that many of these things are inside and they can't be detected easily, right? So that's why hardware testing is also very, very important. So cyber security in India, what's going on? So you have all of these: PM's office, Ministry of Home Affairs, External Affairs, Ministry of Defense, Common Information Technologies, and NGOs. These are all the different organizations which are there. Okay, which are at the moment taking care of this. So now NCIIPC, which is critical infrastructure. So in this thing we have 5 pillars. That's why to take care of all of these: industry, government, academia and R&D centers, user groups and collaborations. Okay, and because I'm picking up from another slide deck also. So we in all of these areas we tie up with. So with government, academia and R&D centers, which is Usmania University and others, JNTU we are going to sign and so on. Okay, user groups and collaborations. So these are the programs we have: market access, collaborations, events, innovations, insights, capability building, promotion, marketing, everything. Our whole goal is to uplift the cybersecurity ecosystem here. Programs for corporates, events, you are welcome to join in any of these programs. Okay, basically you have to approach us on your need and specifics. Right? Marketing, collaboration, insights, and there is the upcoming COE facility in the 12th floor of this building, which is Manjira Trinity Corporate, beside Manjira Mall. Okay. And there is an upcoming cybersecurity roundtable, which is for GCCs, which is Global Capability Center for major organizations. Right. So far, we have had a number of things, right from Netherlands visit to 5G consultation security to NASCOM product conclave. All of these we've had. Past programs there, and so on. I will switch to the other slide deck now. We had a number of people visiting. We signed an MOU with Russia, with UK, and so on. Okay. I'll switch to the other slide deck. About profit. A lot of it is for profit. That's why banking sector is particularly vulnerable. Payment gateways and all that. So we're working with NPCI also, National Payment Corporation of India. Rise of nation-state sponsored attacks. Earlier it was script kiddies. Now you have serious nation-states backing these attacks, which is your building full of hackers sitting in countries who are sponsored by the government, and they are going out and hacking the other nation-states to see where all they can lay their hands on the information. Is it their banks? Is it their defense secrets? Is it their policy making? And they can influence the people. Okay, even if it's the election systems. Higher ransomware demand. Cloud providers will be increasingly targeted because cloud is one place where there is concentration of information. Then the rise of spear phishing attacks to high value targets, mobile applications. and regulations on data privacy following GDPR. Further regulations will be there. You know now Indian Privacy Bill. How many of you know that Indian Privacy Bill is now being tabled and it is going to be passed as a law? What is the bill will become an act? Data Privacy and Protection Act. So with that, it gives greater power to individuals and to organizations and everybody, law enforcement agencies also, to enforce protection of personal information. Remember, Data Privacy Act is all about individual and personal information, not about organizations' information. Okay, your medical records, your personal details, your life, what you are doing, everything. So let me give you an example. About 3 days ago, Canada's healthcare systems, hospitals were hacked, and about 1/3 of the citizens' bills, data patients related details were all stolen, and data was encrypted. So the hackers stole the information and sold it back to the healthcare providers for an undisclosed sum because they had encrypted everything. Okay, imagine a person goes to the office, is running his business, and finds everything encrypted. Unless you pay ransomware, you will not release it. Okay, this is the situation. It will bring you down to knees in a second. Okay. Rigging of artificial intelligence and machine learning systems. So these days you don't even need to hack systems. You can only rig the training data. And then the system is hacked because it will learn the wrong things. Okay. So that's how critical it is. The rise of IoT regulations. So thankfully, hopefully the IoT bars will be over and IoT regulations will emerge in which there will be interoperability and IoT will go more widespread. At that point in time, we will need more security regulations. How many of you have heard of 1M2M? 1M2M. 1M2M standards has some security measures in it. It's an IoT standard framework. Okay? Please do go through that. World Federation of Advertisers Global Privacy Map. So what are all the bills coming around in the world? Lot of them are popping up, many more are coming up now. All around the world. So it is not only your laws that you need to be familiar with, but if you are operating, let's say you booked a contract from Europe, you need to be familiar with their laws. Right? You need to be intimately familiar with their laws, otherwise you are violating some law there and you will be caught. Let me give you an example. Okay. One of my friends, I will not name the company, is the CEO of a company, small company, mid size. They work on field force automation. Are you aware of what that is? Field force automation is basically the people, sales people who are out there in the field, the technicians in the field, all of them have mobility, it is enterprise mobility. They have mobile devices with which they can enter data or take data. One common example you see is that DHL or Amazon guy, courier guy or somebody comes and he has a device in which he will enter saying he has delivered the package and he will take a signature or something and it's done. So that has several things tracking. Where he is going, what time is he there, whether he has delivered the packet, has he delivered, not delivered, the people who are not there at home, all sorts of things are there, right? So he can even probably collect money also, he's authorized to do that. Similarly, people who are collecting maybe water samples outside, people who are sales people on the field, okay? And then he is deciding, bankers on the field, they need automation because a banker on the field probably has a CRM there or some software there in which he can tell whether he should give loan to this person or not. He'll check his eligibility on the field. It doesn't happen in the building here, but it is out there in the field. Because he's inspecting the factory or inspecting the field, something else is happening. And he's entering his data from there. So that is live data. Right? So now what happened was, these people are serving some company like DHL. And they had hooked a big contract. Because their products and all, they cater to that field force automation. So they had taken that contract and delivered it. Now in India they are delivered, everywhere else they are delivered, that's all fine. In France also they delivered. Okay. So one day they got a call, please come to France. The CEO got a call, emergency call. I said, fine, we'll go. He decided to find out what that was about. It seems one guy, one of that courier persons or somebody, filed a lodged a legal complaint there in France. And that was pretty serious in nature. Why? Because it seems you are holding a device, it is tracking you. It is tracking the courier guy. Right? Now in France, the privacy laws are so strong that after a person's work shift is over, say 5 o'clock it is over, 5, 1 also you cannot find out where that guy is. Okay? Even at 5, 1, you have no right to find out where he is. Is he in a hotel, is he on a picnic, or where he is in a restaurant or a movie hall, you have no right to find out. And I believe that was kept on longer. So that tracking data was there on the server. So it was so bad that the moment he had landed, he would have been arrested, that CEO. Because you are taking information, private information. So what this guy did was, as an emergency measure, he told all these people that, yeah.
What's the risk of the crypto mining and crypto jobs?
Yeah, I'll come to it. So this guy, so they immediately as an emergency measure, he got a lot of data erased off the servers. Then he went there, those people took him to court, he said that, look, there is no data. So he went in there was no data. Fine, really left. Escaped by a thin margin. Otherwise he would have been slapped with fines and this guy would have been in the cooler there in France. Okay, so please understand, more and more as India is looking, trying to do foreign trade and everything, you need to be aware of many of the laws where you are doing that, and more of them are going to come out. Okay, so a small business, yeah, sorry, crypto?
Crypto mining. Yes, sir. Risk of crypto mining and crypto jobs.
Yes, correct. So rising crypto mining and crypto jacking. So 3-4 things there, all combined because of this Bitcoin and many other currencies that have come. There are 2,000 currencies or more are coming up. 90% of them junk probably. We do not know, time will tell. But they are banned in some countries, halfway in some countries, some other places. So with this internet and all, if you have, people can buy things in Bitcoins and many other things, right? So, and then get global goods, software, many other things. So
RBI cannot recognize that crypto mining, cryptocurrency.
Hang on, there are separate things. So one guy went into this crypto business is so strong that you need lot of crypto mining. So where do you get these resources from? What they will do is they will secretly attach, let's say OU has its servers. OU servers, Usmania University, your servers are downstairs. They will secretly run programs there which are actually doing their crypto mining. You would not even be aware of it. That means they have stolen your computing resources. Okay, at the more high end you have, the more vulnerable you are for that, because they are taking off their running programs which you are not aware of. So this has happened even in defense labs. Please understand. I will not name where and how, but people have found that somehow people have got in and said, wonderful, you have so many compute resources, let me use that for crypto mining. Okay, and secretly things may be going on. That means your computing resources are hijacked off for doing some other, for other purposes in which you are trying to extract for bitcoins or some other mining. Okay, so that is one of the things. Similarly, so you have, as I told you, you will one day come to the office and find everything encrypted, then you'll say that paying bitcoins because it is anonymous. So lot of illegal activities happen through all of these means, through cryptocurrencies. So money laundering through cryptocurrencies is one of the major things, even the DGP's office has asked. And soon all these threats will rise. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. So there are more and more sophistications to that. How unaware of small businesses? 66%. 73% of small businesses safe and trusted internet is critical to their success. Lot of these statistics are all meant to indicate the nature, severity of the problem. Please do not underestimate, it's only going to go up. Okay. Okay, you look at these areas, Digital universe information security category. Privacy, 15%. Compliance, custodial, confidential, lockdown. Okay? So, worldwide spending on cybersecurity is forecasted to reach $133 billion in 2022. It is actually $231 billion by 2025. But this is a very non-linear growth, so it could be by next year also. It's not a linear projection. Okay? So, 62% of businesses. So, what do all these, and only 5% of companies' folders are protected properly on an average. What does this mean? What do all of these statistics mean? Is it very high-end sophisticated game depending on your level of attack? So, what should you be doing? What should you be doing? So there is something known as cyber resilience. That means how do you recover from an attack? Okay. The fact that there are only two kinds of organizations, it seems. Ones that have been hacked and the ones that are going to get hacked. Okay. Now there is a third kind of organization, it seems, that the people who don't know that they have been hacked. It falls under the first one. So cyber resilience is important. Suddenly you find that thing that all your systems have been hacked, complete grinding meltdown, fault, and what you should do is you should have a backup or something to recover from it immediately. And all you have lost is 1 day's worth of data, and then plug your security loopholes. Okay, day zero attacks, maybe you cannot protect, but through very intelligent configuration and security, please reach out to us on what all these mean. You will be yourself for the most part. And nobody can guarantee that you will be 100% safe. Just as in the physical world, nobody can guarantee it. You can have a Z category security or beyond also, and still Prime Minister can get assassinated. Okay. Get my point? Like in the physical world, how safe are you? You can have all the bodyguards in the world, all the lockers in the world, but there will be someone, mission impossible style or something will come and can take it if he's really desperate. Which is why it is essential to categorize your assets. Okay, I cannot get into technical data many things because it's just one-hour presentation. What you need to do is classify. What we recommend is classify your assets like you do in the physical world. Okay, so in the physical world you have a lot of things. Your clothes, shoes, so many other things. You own many assets. So would you treat your chappals also the same like your jewelry? Obviously not. Okay, you give far more greater protection. So you first is classify your assets. And it may not be that critical to protect this water bottle as compared to some confidential data that you have. Okay. Accordingly, you will apply your measures because it costs a lot of things. It costs resources to really protect it. So as per the CSTF, Cybersecurity Task Force reports 10% of your IT budget must be spent on cybersecurity. Otherwise, there is something wrong with your way and scheme of doing things, which is what we are working with various different organizations for. Okay. Okay. Right. I will just go through this rapidly and I'll touch upon some other things. How many minutes do we have? Because I can go on and on. Another 10 minutes, right? Switch to another slide there, which is, yeah. So, I think this one I'll skip because it's a lot. Okay. So what is cyberspace? A global domain within the information environment consisting of interdependent network of information technology infrastructures. So it covers everything. Internet, telecommunications, network, systems, embedded processors, controllers. Practically everything constitutes cyberspace. Wherever it is. So deep down in your network, if you have session border controllers, which are at the borders of networks, those will form part of cyberspace. Chips in your and processors in your compute infrastructure, you have storage devices, of course, yes. Okay. So the price keeps dropping, making technology affordable. Old net, new net, 5G and all coming in. Research is going on for your information on 7G at the moment. Okay, 6G and 7G. So 5G is at deployment stage. So still there is a lot of scope for research and everything. So would encourage you to open a 5G lab if you can, because a lot of deployments are going to come. Okay. So the new net controls critical infrastructure. Integrity is critical for economy, public safety, and national security. Okay. So these are some stats. So let me talk about critical infrastructure. 18 sectors. These are identified as critical infrastructure. These are the ones that people will target first in case of an enemy attack. And these are the places where you are most vulnerable. Okay? Right? So the risk is interconnected of sectors, proliferation of exposure points, and concentration of assets. It could be in the form of cloud. It could be in the form of co-located structures, right? You have kept it all in one place and people know where to hack, how to hack. Okay. Cyberspace has inherent vulnerabilities that cannot be removed, and there are innumerable entry points. In a building, you can guard one or two entry points. In cybersecurity, there could be many things, right? Including an employee who has just resigned and walked out. He probably is carrying many things in his mind. Okay, and you're vulnerable. Okay, right? So a lot of things are taken for granted, but they should not be. So that's why this is a very vast field. Okay, protect individual systems rather than critical operations. Nation states, non-state actors and individuals are at peer level all capable of waging attacks. Non-state actors could be groups, disgruntled groups, terrorists, okay, all sorts of fellows, religious, otherwise, Naxalites, which are secular terrorists. Okay, so what are you, religious, anarchists, you name it, right? Okay, viruses, antivirus, firewalls, worms, botnets, so on, and then AI and ML. This I have already shown you. Okay. Top 5 countries to be attacked, according to 23rd by Symantec Corporation. So this goes on and on. I will just rush through. So what happened was that here, this Prime Minister Modi visited many countries, and he asked the leaders, what are the top 3 things that keep you awake at night? What you are really worried about? Okay. Cybersecurity invariably turned out to be one of them. Top 3. So he came back and asked NASSCOM what are you doing about it. So NASSCOM constituted a body, Cyber Security Task Force, CSTF, under the guidance of Mr. Rajendra Pawar, who is the founder of NIIT, ex-chairman of NASSCOM, Padma Bhushan awardee. He is the chairman of my board of directors also. A close relationship with him. So he formulated that CSTF report, Cyber Security Task Force report, which makes 10 recommendations, very brilliant, but the point is that those recommendations need to be followed. Okay, so that is the problem. Then now we are trying to get people to engage and follow those recommendations. So that is what causes. So because there is a lot of gap between people, lot of thought goes into a certain report or something, and then people do not follow it. That is a tragedy. Okay. Who's behind the breaches? Right? This has grown to 1/3 actually. Insiders. Okay, international trends. These are the international trends. APTs, very deadly things. Advanced persistent threats. Please look it up. So vulnerability to risk, 75% of Indian CXOs admit they lack confidence in their company's cybersecurity processes. So it is so widespread, the bigger the company, the more difficult it is to handle and track. This is old one. Okay. Here, activists, cyber espionage, cyber terrorists, criminals, and so on. Where did breaches occur? Then another slide, quick slide. Okay, real world system, HMI, human machine interface, computer algorithms, software architectures, right? Security begins with the trustworthy hardware. Hardware also is equally responsible. Okay, so there's lot of material to cover, but depending on this, I will, yeah, so you see hardware, virtual machines, operating systems, and applications which are there. Okay, so there are threats at every level and vulnerabilities at every level. Okay, challenges are increasing in the cyberspace domain. Anatomy of an attack: motive, discover, probe, penetrate, escalate, expand, persist, and execute, and exfiltrate data. Okay. Here, critical infrastructure, key resources, physical infrastructure, and cyber infrastructure. Right? Need for secure applications, down to the hardware. Cryptographic techniques. So take your flavor, what you would really like and which area you fall into, and that can become your field of choice. Okay, system security, network security, wireless, and cryptography. And of course now it's quantum computing, UKD, quantum key distribution. Confidentiality, integrity, availability, and reliability, safety, and privacy. Privacy is a big deal. Once regulations kick in place, then you're going to have a lot of need for a lot of cybersecurity professionals. Okay. At different levels, the same earlier diagram which I showed in a simplified version. Secure coding, firewall, demilitarized zones, multiple layers are required. Essentially, this shows that a single one size will not fit. You need multiple layers and layers of security. Okay. IoT vulnerabilities. Right? And design smart, open, trusted, strong, ubiquitous. Ubiquitous means everywhere. Okay. So while we help design products, there is something known as security by design, privacy by design. Okay. So you cannot retrofit it into a product. You need to plan for it upfront to be there in the product. That is, ground up things need to be secure. You cannot do it as an afterthought. That is the key message here. Okay, how to do that? Again, please contact us. That itself, security by design or privacy by design itself is an area for study, and we'll be happy to help you. Okay, it is a very big market. If anyone is in cybersecurity, how many of you know what is the unemployment rate in cybersecurity worldwide? It is negative 4%. Okay, so you have a rich field career ahead of you, and it's probably it is much larger, but let's stick with that. Okay, among the highest paid professionals, cybersecurity people. Okay, so there are various means. These are all very quick. Sorry. What did I do? Yeah, these are the, you could call some 10 steps. Incident management, mobile networking. Yeah, enterprise security systems. Again, you can make this a field for yourself. There is something known as GRC now that's become important. It's called governance, risk, and compliance. And because you cannot, GRC cannot happen once in 6 months audits. Because supposing there is a vulnerability, it would have spread like wildfire and compromised all your networks. So it needs to be, supposing at night 3 o'clock it has happened. What are you going to do? Wait for a report and then by that time they spread all over. So AI, ML are increasingly being used to knock off, identify, take actions, rule-based systems and all that. So automatically it will take actions on its own to protect the things, protect your systems, right? Assets, reputation management, all these have become important. Trust layer, impact layer, analytic layer, metric implementation, evaluation layer, planning. Current solutions operate in silos and these are coming together. Okay? It's comprehensive. This blue code bought by Semantic now in 2016. So block known web threads, allow known threads, block known bad downloads, analyze known unknown threads, non-thread. What I'd like somebody to do here is really pick up standards. Say NIST standard is there. You can pick that up. Or there is MITRE standard, attack framework. Okay, there is malware and threat hunting analysis. You can pick that up and really study them and make them your field of study. And it will bring together various elements because a lot of research has already happened. How do you implement it? How do you do that? That's where the nuances are. All those can happen and you can contribute to the standards. So if all this has interested you, then please contact us. We can start either research in those areas and all. Standards and frameworks are something that I would strongly encourage you to study. So all of these are there. And of course people, the training and all that. So technology process people will define basically how the world can be shaped. It's important to upgrade yourself and choose areas which are very ripe. In some other areas, they may not be future proof, but cybersecurity always, because it cuts across all horizontals, all verticals. Okay. These are some of the few areas. Adaptive and intelligent cybersecurity solution. Okay. Right? Proactive about ransomware and some of the IoTs are weak linked if you see. Trustworthy systems. So there is things like zero trust models which are there. Can I wrap up now? Right. Going on and on. I think I'll wrap up here. Okay. Well, there's a lot, but please stay tuned. Any questions? I'll be happy to take.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
You can.
You have taken the time to exam where a particular person, especially the youth, they are accustomed to debit cards, ATMs, and NEFT, RTGS, etc. So they are vulnerable for these cybersecurity problems. Another person, an old man like me, uses only check the physical instrument. How much effect will be there on me as far as cybersecurity is concerned?
See, you can't stay with it. That is escapism. You cannot stick with the past systems only. See, it is like saying that stop using smartphones, and if you want to book a car, taxis, go out there and stand on the street and wave that some taxi will stop. You would book an Uber or an Ola, right? There is no technology comes with its risks. We got to understand the risks and manage them. You're not 100% safe. See, for example, when people shifted from different technologies of transport, say buses, there are certain risks associated with buses. Trains, some other risks. Flights, other set of risks are there. Right? Ranging from hijacking to plane crashes to everything. So these industries have matured over a period of time. Similarly, these will also mature. You stop using email and go back to post and letter writing? I don't think so. because the benefits far outweigh the inconvenience, or the convenience far outweighs the risks. Okay, only thing is to take adequate safeguards, put measures in place, bolstered by regulatory factors and other business factors.
As an individual, we are using our debit card, ATM, RTGS, etc. What kind of measures we can?
So what would be the option? When the world is moving towards a digital society, you would go out, take so much cash and carry cash in the pocket, and then you would have to keep the change, and every single place pay that. Is that a feasible model in today's world? I don't think so. I think you will need to use your credit card wherever it's possible, because it is one credit card, and then you have adequate measures in place to block the card to do something if you suspect some fraud is happening. And there will be, you will have your digital fingerprints. Yeah. Right? That's the answer, not to avoid it altogether. Don't go and pick up the latest and greatest of technologies that you are an experimental guinea pig. Don't do that, you will not do that anyway. Okay? Some people are on the far end who are early adopters. Yeah. The other people are the people who, yeah, some technologies which have taken some shape and are these things you need to be able to use those. Yeah. So please move away from checks. Even the government or nobody will encourage you to do that. As in fact, they are discouraging going there and standing in the queue and putting a check just because you want to save time. The banks don't want to spend that money to service you. The waste of everybody's time. Yeah.
Any PG courses or certification courses conducted?
Oh yeah, there are variety, gamut of courses. We conduct on right from seminars and all that, workshops in special areas, securities, to complete semester courses and full-blown MTech degree courses.
Where is that? Where are they?
They are there in many colleges. For example, JNTU has an MTech in cybersecurity. Okay. Here also probably one day
This one, yeah.
yeah. There are semester courses, there is an academic side. Academic meaning full-blown. Then there are professional ones which are specific. So you need to connect with us to know more. Okay. And here also in this Cybersecurity Center of Excellence we are going to introduce. So there will be things on, let's say, cloud security, IoT security, right? 4 and 6. So there are 500 at least plus areas. Policies, privacy. There are things which are a combination, like with cyber law and with cyber security.
Ethical hacking will help.
Yeah, ethical hacking is, yes, it will help, meaning that who wants to get into it and for what purpose. All don't want to become hackers and all cannot be hackers. Please understand that it is very deep down subject. Okay. So ethical hacking also is something like hacking, but in an ethical manner to test the strength of systems with a view to protect them. Black hat hacking and all those are unethical hacking, which means that you are doing it to break in and do some damage. Yeah. Any other questions?
As an invaluable resource and played an instrumental role in various DRDO projects. After providing his services in the Indian Navy, Dr. Kurramalaya sir is currently working at the Advanced Numerical Research and Analysis Group, Anurag, in Hyderabad. He has also been a key member and reviewer for various international journals like Association for Computing Machinery, ACM, Computer Society of India, CSI, Defense Science Journal, Internet Society, and finally, International Association of Engineers, IAENG, and many other conferences in the field of data security, holding a doctoral degree in computer science engineering. So, I would like to take this opportunity to request Dr. Kurramalaya sir onto the dais to share his valuable knowledge with us regarding the topic of cybersecurity and protection techniques.
Advisor and my mentor and whatnot, me. So it's my privilege to be here to deliver a session on occasion of his retirement. So today I will be talking about some cybersecurity aspects and various protection techniques and mechanisms. Possibly, I will be talking about the supporting operations and encrypted data. So I will be, if time permits, I will give a practical demo on CryptoDB and Nessus vulnerability assessment tool. in a broad sense, so these are my contents of presentation, cyber security aspects, and I think that going to be the morning session is also on cyber security. So I could see that the strength is very low. Maybe looking at the title of the session. So nevertheless, I'll try to make you understand some aspects in the cyber security domain. And next I will be talking about some fundamental cryptography. It's whatever we say today, we are actually depending on the cryptography, any online security if you are concerned. So if you wanted to really understand the cyber security aspects, you need to understand the fundamentals of the cryptography. Either you say digital signature, either you say the digital certificate, either integrity verification, whatever you say in this particular cyber domain, the security fall back to the cryptography aspects. So you need to have the good understanding of the cryptography, at least the basics. Then I will be talking about the supporting operations on encrypted data. I will myself consider as this is advanced version of the cryptography, where I will be talking about the homomorphic encryption and different versions of the homomorphic encryption. And next I will cover about the cryptography, CryptDB. So another system where it talks about the security of the databases. Okay, how to protect the database. Okay, when you are hosting or when you are outsourcing your database onto the cloud or any third party environment or resources. So next I will touch upon the format preserving encryption and order preserving encryption and searchable encryptions. These are the various type of encryption techniques. Still you achieve the concept of performing the operations on encrypted data itself without revealing its plain data during computation. So next I will possibly introduce the blockchain technology, talk about some aspect of the blockchain technology, in the side of the protecting our assets, valuable assets, when you are hosting in the cloud or any part of the world in the digital world, how to protect your actually the data, vital data, using the blockchain technology. And I will talk about the VAPT, that the vulnerability analysis and penetration testing tool. Here I will give you some available open source VAPT tools, and possibly if time permits I will give a practical do the complete demo, okay, using the Nessus. It is a VA vulnerability assessment tool, and then we'll plan for the demo. So cyber security, many people talk, in fact it has become a buzzword nowadays. Everywhere you go, cyber security, this problem, that problem. It is because lot of digital data we are day by day generating. Every day terabytes of data being storing in various servers across the globe. So somebody using the mobile phone, somebody using the laptop, somebody using the server, desktop, wherever you say, most of the people are connecting over the internet, and some or other information could be the personal or could be related to the organization. It may be related to your academic, everything. So more or less actually our data is day by day, the vital data is syncing, and we are storing in the various servers. So when you are on the in this global era, when you are connecting on the internet, okay, there actually in this cyber space you need to, because of the many threats, okay. So now we have to talk. That's why this cyber security aspect has emerged, and everywhere it is being now discussed, and people are actually bothered. If we see every day or some other day, we could see that actually there is a one case study. If you open up your paper and you can see a case study, okay, somebody will go to the cyber cell of the cyber cell, and somebody actually got into my account, and I lost this much of amount of money, and somebody came into my email account, and my email account has been hacked or misused, some or other things. Nowadays even we could see the social engineering aspect of the cyber security, and the most vulnerable is actually the social engineering sites. It purpose is something, but actually it is being used for the very malicious purposes. So that's why the cyber security has become the very important. We need to very careful when you are connecting onto the actually internet. So I was just going through in the literature, I came across, there is something called Stop, Think and Connect. This is actually Homeland Security awareness. They are bringing the awareness in the society in the USA with this particular campaign. Stop, think and then connect to the actually internet. I personally feel actually there are many aspects, trainings and many aspects in this domain keep going, but actually that still that awareness is very poor in our country. Okay, still without looking anything, we actually click on the terms and conditions are okay. Wherever something advertisement comes, we will click without thinking anything. So some kind of discipline awareness has to come within in the society. Then actually it is completely a foolproof. We can go ahead with the. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Even I was going through with the internet. The Identity Theft Resource Center is basically an organization where it has identified that actually 90% of the cyber attacks, we can avoid if we follow the simple SOP, standard operating procedure. But actually we are not at all following anything. We are very careless. Okay. So 90% means only remaining 10% that is a very sophisticated attacks. Okay. For that you need to have the really a very good security mechanism. But 90% can be avoided if you follow the simple basic fundamental aspect of the cyber security. That also we are actually not doing. Even one more important aspect of this thing is you can read Verigen Data Breach Investigation Report (DBIR). Internal agents actually were more than half of in all the breaches which are happening. Either he may be the ex-employee or maybe the employee with a malicious intention, or maybe somebody who malicious fellow. Okay, due to actually these people, okay, more than half of these cyber threats are actually happening. So coming again to this particular domain, and if we consider the warfare, and we generally have general understanding, we have the four four areas, that is actually space, air and maritime and land. This generally we consider. There is actually another warfare, that is cyber warfare. It actually falls under to all your remaining 4 domains. Okay. So in future we don't know if any war takes place. It may happen. Instead of leaving remaining 4, actually we may be only with the actually cyber war we may be doing. Imagine actually when mostly now most of our actual infrastructure is in this cyber domain, okay, which is strategic important to the nation. Either you take the Indian Railways, okay, or you take actually the core banking, anything is there. Most of the things are actually we are going towards automation, and hence if any attack takes place there, it is a big a blow. Okay. So can I come back? So in fact I wanted to just mention about the Information Technology Act 2008. Okay. Despite we have the many policies, procedures, acts, many things, but still actually cyber threats are happening, and many people are actually victim out of it. Okay. You may say that actually particular countries, especially African countries, that area actually, some of the countries they do not have any act. Even for that matter, when they hack into the particular system, or they are doing the this professional hacking mechanism, it is not a crime actually. Okay. So that's why whenever we host any data on online internet, you should be very careful, and whenever you opting a particular resources, okay, in terms of the cloud resources, you be sure that actually where exactly you are picking the location, the resource, where you are actually wanted to store your data. You will have the option, only one thing, you all need to explore it. Whenever actually you create an instance on the cloud, okay, you can also pick up a location where you exactly wanted to create that particular instance. Many of the people don't know actually one instance. Even you take the Amazon, you can actually create an instance in the Mumbai. Okay. But I have come across most of the people are actually taking the other countries. So be aware that actually, because other countries, the policies, mechanisms, they may be different. If something goes wrong, okay, they will act as per the that particular geographical region location policy wise, not as per the Indian policy wise. If you try to opt a resource within the country, okay, here in the Mumbai, then as per IT Act 2008, it may go. So lot talk about this, why do we need cyber security? As I told you, because the data being collected from the mobile, desktop, laptop, and everywhere it is being collected. And there is actually, black hat hackers, malicious fellow. He is, trying to look at you. Okay, there is a lot of data being collected, and there is a big threat. Okay, there is something called the white hat also. Generally, we consider them as the ethical hackers. Okay, it is sometimes good to have the ethical hackers, so that in the vulnerability in the system will come to know. So these are some of the types of the cyber attacks. So I am not going anything in detail. That is the malware, phishing, password attacks, denial of the distributed services, rogue software, and this is the one thing I wanted to mention about. I think more or less this malware and these rogue softwares more or less same. Okay, malware is a malicious software, and when you downloading the software from open source or anywhere, you should be careful that most of the people these online, when you are downloading, more or like you are downloading freewares. Okay, it's a free, and just imagine why he has to give free. Okay, and try to download the softwares from a genuine websites, not just like anybody's giving this particular. And be sure about this phishing attacks also. He pretends like he is actually a trusted party, but he may not actually. So you have to be very careful about whenever you download anything from the internet. So if you ask me, actually don't download anything from the internet. Go for the valid license based actually software. If at all anything not there, but there are certain identified website, trusted website, from them only you need to download. So malware, as I mentioned, is malicious software. Basically, generally majority of the in organizations, this particular malicious software comes from there are two ways, either from the USB, CD, DVD, or some people connecting the mobiles into the your actually organization. This is one way, and another way is actually through internet. Okay, so be careful whenever you are actually using these devices. Phishing, email phishing, telephone phishing, okay, various other ways. Just I will rush through here because most of these things I think morning in the morning session it has been covered. So types of attacks, these are the man in middleware. Just I wanted to tell you this particular thing, drive by download, what exactly it means. So sometimes you wanted to actually see exactly what it is there, then download. But what happens, you just have to click there, just your cursor, okay, has to go that particular location without you either clicking yourself. Actually it downloads the complete thing, on its own it downloads. So most of the time, if you are such things are you are downloading, just think that it is actually a malware, it is not a genuine one. Okay, so just you observe this, drive by download is a powerful attack actually. So advertisements, within the advertisements there are actually malwares are there and rogue software. So why do we care about the cyber security? Okay, there are three main aspects in any information security, such as unauthorized access and unauthorized deletion, unauthorized modification. So these three things, any property of the information security has to have these three properties. Subsequent slides actually I will be elaborating on these three. So generally we call those three are these. There is CIA triad. We call this confidentiality, integrity and availability. So confidentiality basically refers to the there should not be any unauthorized access of the any confidential information or any resources. there has to be a proper type of authentication mechanism. Only authorized person should access the whatever the resources and whatever the is belongs. No unauthorized person should able to access the any data. Okay, any data. That is the meaning of actually the confidentiality. When it comes to the integrity, so integrity meaning that actually there should not be any altercation. It should be the whatever the originality it should maintain. Any attacker or any manual middle should not able to alter that particular data. Okay, coming to the availability. Okay, when you subscribe to particular service and you the legitimate user supposed to get always the services resources actually intended for, but actually what happens due to the some attack, due to the somebody a rogue user, actually he keep and attacking the system. Okay, so the system is after all a system, it keep handling the requests. Okay, due to some malicious activity, your legitimate user should not actually suffer. So that is the actually availability. So these three things we have to, wherever any security mechanism, wherever you see, okay, so should possess these three properties. That is CIA generally we call. It should have the system, the secure system. You say it should have confidentiality should be preserved, and also should have the integrity and availability. These three property it must maintain and it should possess. So what type of actually attacks are on this confidentiality and integrity and availability? Generally we see them cracking the encrypted data. If somebody actually decrypting maliciously, without having the proper encryption keys, okay, this is the one type of attacks on the confidentiality, and man in the middle attacks on the plain text. So now when coming we are in the man in the middle attack on the plain text. So if let's say you are connecting to the particular website and from the client. So imagine actually you do not have the HTTPS connection. That S means the secure connection. Okay, let's say it is not there. Okay, imagine there is actually no HTTPS connection. That means the data from your client to the server and vice versa, from server to the client, actually it goes in a plain form. Okay, there could be any rogue user, somebody can sneak into your network, okay, packets, and can acquire the data. This kind of attacks generally we call the man in middle attack. So therefore you should have the proper HTTPS connection before you try to contact or try to open any website online. So data leakage, unauthorized copying the sensitive data, installing the spyware, malwares on the server. These are some of the attacks are possible with respect to the confidentiality. And integrity, web penetration for malware insertion, malicious accessing the servers and forging the records. And these are the once actually he comes into your system, he may modify the system that actually where it lost its originality, and we say that is actually integrity of that particular system has been lost. So next coming to the availability, these are some of the attacks are possible on the availability of the information security, that is DOS, DDoS attacks, ransomware, very interesting nowadays actually, ransomware. Have you seen this WannaCry? Recently, there was a ransomware called WannaCry. Okay, some millions of rupees. That particular ransomware, it costed the many people across the globe. So there are many ransomware. Simply, you will encrypt actually your sensitive data, and he keeps that key with him only, and he demands some ransom, some money from you. If you give the money, you will give the keys. So that kind of attacks are possible here. And how is cyber security is implemented is a very plain form. It is just wanted to give you three aspects. So whenever do you wanted to access particular system or particular website, you need to identify and to take some analysis and evaluation tools and mechanisms frequently on your systems, or try to have the only encrypted communication, your client and the server, that is HTTPS communication. And if you find actually there is some vulnerability, some kind of problem, if you notice, then actually try to run some antiviruses, some tools to treat. So some of the things we can use VAPT tools, digital forensics tools actually to investigate if anything has happened, and IDS and IPS. Okay, these things.
Identify point of view, authentication and privacy both are same or different?
Authentication,
And privacy.
more or less actually they are similar to each other. Privacy, my privacy has to be preserved. That means only the only authorized person with having the right tokens, right username and passwords, he should only the access that particular data.
That is authentication.
So that is because of this particular authentication, my privacy is preserved. Okay, that means no other can actually able to access. Okay, no other person can come into the actually can actually alter my privacy.
For
Okay.
example, it is a public network.
Hmm.
Public network, when we are using the public network, and authentication is also required that one.
Hmm.
But privacy is not required. There is no privacy for that. What is the reason behind that?
No. Actually, privacy means say authentication is required using the username and password. We'll say that actually there is no privacy. It's not because of there is username and password. Actually, the username and password may be easily crackable when you actually go to the any wireless networks. Okay, so that's why people will say do not use the any unauthorized unauthorized locations wireless communications because there could be a privacy issues. That means there is a possibility of the breaking. Okay, see what is the guarantee whenever you are being to the particular airport and actually you are connected to the Wi-Fi provided by that particular service over there in the internet. That time actually what you have to log in yourself. Okay, and you have to you will be browsing. Okay, what is the guarantee that actually is not storing whatever the things actually is browsing or the information actually you are asking you are providing. So there is a privacy issues if you use a resources outside. So basically steps to treat a cyber attacks. So generally we'll see the vulnerability, threat and risk. Generally if there is you need to periodically see does my system got any vulnerability. Okay, if there are any vulnerability in the actually design in the software or hardware and operating system or applications, okay, these vulnerabilities can be big threat to the actually the organization. When this threat can be becomes the risk. Okay, so that's why we have to be very careful about the whenever we are designing the system. So this is a simple definitions of vulnerability, threat and risk. So if system have the vulnerability, there will be a threat because somebody can actually exploit the vulnerability and that brings the risk to the organization. So other aspect actually I was just thinking about give the social media networking. Nowadays this social media is more vulnerable than actually any other thing. Lot of private information people are actually posting on the social media. Sometimes to my surprise actually people are sharing this username and passwords with somebody using the social media and their personal photos. Majority of the all communications happening in the social media and personal individual confidential information. So please avoid the social media. Social media is very vulnerable and as far as your private confidential information try to avoid because recently these are some of the types of the social media. I am not going in there. There are privacy issues. So recently just there is a one attack rather than attack I will say it is spyware Pegasus. Okay, the Pegasus spyware in the WhatsApp. And what exactly the Pegasus was is this spyware actually designed for the WhatsApp. And whenever you make a particular phone call, okay, or you send a message, actually a spyware installs in your mobile. Okay, and we know that actually WhatsApp is the one application. It accesses the almost all the resources of your actually mobile phone. So this spyware targeted for taking the photos, taking the listening to the mic, and almost all it was controlling the your complete mobile phone. And this, there is a organization called NSO in the Israel, and actually they are authorized people to develop the actually spywares. Okay, they have been developing the spywares, and basically they are selling to the government organizations to monitor the actually cyber crimes and cyber criminals. Intention is fine. Okay, so but actually it is in the news we have seen that actually it has been used for the malicious purposes. So there are actually attacks are also possible in the WhatsApp, and also WhatsApp people claim that actually it provides the end-to-end security, and also recently this end-to-end security concept of the WhatsApp also has been broken. Actually, how it has been broken? There is a man-in-middle attack way. Okay, whenever you send your image, okay, to the source to the destination from one mobile to the other mobile, actually before the the receiver actually downloads, okay, is the image. What is happening? This particular malware actually modifying the image. Okay, this particular the spyware if your mobile has, it is modifying that particular image and resending to yourself only. So there is this. So therefore, it is the end-to-end security so-called claimed by the WhatsApp is also got the breach. So my only concern point of telling you here is try to avoid any sensitive information, security information. If you feel it so, with respect to your organization or with respect to you, anything better to be avoided. It's no more secure. And email, we have recently also seen Yahoo. We read in the newspaper that Yahoo accounts, many millions of the mails got hacked. Sometimes recently Facebook also we have seen Facebook accounts got hacked or somebody sold or what is that, we don't know, but actually there is a breach, okay, in the Facebook also. Okay, so therefore don't post any sensitive information. So coming to some brief about the mobile security, and nowadays we have left almost actually our laptops and desktops and other things, and we are on the mobile. Okay, most of our activities we are keep doing with the help of the mobile. So mobile security has become one of the very important area of the cyber security. So we need to be alert whenever actually you are browsing using the mobile, and only connect to the internet if needed. Okay, so as long as if you avoid connection to connecting the internet, it's always good. Don't be completely connected and don't connect actually in unknown areas, Wi-Fi's. Okay, the Wi-Fi particular protocol WAP, WAP2 and WP, these actually considered a very weak protocols actually, and if there are already malwares available to break into these protocols, and if anybody can actually come into your particular mobile, can steal if you connect your mobile to the any Wi-Fi network which is unknown. That's why reason there is actually privacy issues. So know your applications and be sure whatever the applications you require as a part of your mobile, have only them. Do not have some application, because there are many default applications which comes with the mobile whenever you actually purchase. So just I thought of giving some thing about the defense in depth. Whenever in organizations, whenever you are working any organization, have the concept of this defense in depth. Okay, it is basically a layered approach. Okay, so we assume that multi-layered security mechanisms we have deployed, so that at one place, if somebody breaks an other level, it is possible to actually control or curb the whatever the attacks actually being takes place. When generally we do that actually at the entry of our network we generally it better to keep the the firewalls. And once from firewall to within the system you can have the any encryptors. Next, coming to the host level, you can install the various your anti-viruses. So better to have the layered security, so that a better way of actually protecting your systems. So there are actually many organizations are working in the domain of the cyber security. So just I thought a few I will quote it here. So there is a certain cyber emergency response team that in means India. So it is working in the cyber security domain, and in fact DRDO is very actively working in the cyber security domain, and National Cyber Defense Resource Center and these are some of the things. Techno-Legal Cyber Security Research and Development Center of the India, and there are many more. Actually, I could list only few here. And you can see in the global, this. Okay, this I will discuss after some time. So now, why does the data leak? So there could be, advisories can exploit the software vulnerabilities either in the operating system, applications, databases, any level it is possible. If there is any vulnerability, the attacker may exploit, and he can steal your data. And there could be the hardware exploits. Okay, there is some vulnerability in the hardware itself. The hardware vulnerabilities also advisory can exploit. And interestingly, zero-day attacks. Okay, you assume that you got the protection, whatever the known attacks, you got the protection against the whatever the known attacks. There could be the attacks, different variety of ways the attackers are actually targeting the system. And the zero-day attack is you do not have any idea. Okay, some bug he has found out your system, and he has exploited that bug, and he has penetrated into your system. So zero-day attacks are also possible, and there are the curious malicious administrators at the hosting side. So this is more or less with respect to the cloud computing side. Whenever you are hosting your data on particular server, there could be a malicious administrator. And one example I can give you this Edward Snowden. He was I think you heard this name? I don't know. He was the administrator in the Department of Defense. Okay, USA. Actually, he has leaked a lot of confidential informations. Okay, from his organization. So there are malicious administrators are also there. So who can actually leak your data, and the servers snoop on the data since you are hosting. So if it is very important, if data feeds that particular administrator, and what are the activities even the particular individual is doing, he can actually snoop on. It finds very relevant, very important, and there are always the competitors. He can sell this particular data to the competitors if your organization. So this is also possible. This way, sometimes data will be leaked. Attacks with the physical access steal the data. Okay, sometimes some thief can enter into your premises and insert his pen drive and can also actually steal your data. There are many ways, hackers. There are many ways actually data can be leaked. And day by day, because of lot of online data we are generating, it is day by day getting worse actually than the better. Because there is an increasing amount of the sensitive data on the online. Every day terabytes. Okay, terabytes of the data actually we are generating, and it is not a junk data actually. It is a useful, very sensitive information, sensitive data. Okay, junk data is actually more than this. Okay. So now the trend towards database outsourcing. So most of the things, even including our mobile phone, whenever we are saying, whenever we are using, we try to automatically actually our contacts, our complete almost all applications, they are syncing all this information to actually their servers. Okay, so that way also sometimes without your knowledge actually your data is being stored in the servers. So in a way, some kind of you are using the third party. Either could be the Samsung, could be the Amazon, could be the Google, Microsoft, IBM, anybody actually. Whoever coming with some application is trying to take your data. Okay, this is clear. He is trying to take actually your data. So in such scenario actually now the thing is you wanted to actually, okay, this is good purpose. Whenever let's say you lost your mobile and you wanted to all the contacts, information, whatever you have stored, you wanted to get it back. Okay, it is possible. Okay, when you again log into, when you purchase a new mobile and having the account with those servers, you can easily get back to your actually information. But it is the purpose is good, but actually this data can be used in a malicious way. So now the tension is between securing the data and computing on that particular data. Okay. Now and there are many ways again. All these data was leaked because of what? Malicious administrators, hackers, insiders. So generally three possibilities actually I kept here with respect to the actually cloud computing. Okay, when you actually outsourcing your particular data onto the cloud, so that maybe it is possible data is always in the plain text. Let's say whatever the data is being stored, okay, or whatever the data contact, anything you are syncing to that particular server is in the form of the plain text. Plain text means anybody penetrates into the system in a malicious way or malicious administrator can see actually your data. And another aspect is that let's say actually the data is being encrypted, but the keys which are actually used, okay, to encrypt this particular data are also actually stored in the same location, most of in the same table, okay, encrypted, and there is another table within that particular database, the keys are stored there. If somebody enters into your particular system, okay, by some exploiting some vulnerabilities, he can very well read the keys and decrypt your data and can steal your actually information. So another aspect is actually decryption at the database server. So now whenever you wanted to actually retrieve some data from the server, okay, then what is happening actually, you send a query to the database server or onto the cloud, and he performs this particular query on your data, and the results actually sends back. Okay, before executing the particular query, what he does is first actually he decrypts the whatever data you stored in that particular database, then he executes the query. Okay, because during that time, okay, before actually executing your query, okay, after decryption, the data complete during the duration, the data remains in the plain form in that particular server. If during that time any malicious code already is running in that particular server, can steal the plain data. Okay, can steal the actually plain data. Many things. There are some other actually different ways. Theft of sensitive data in ubiquitous. Hackers are finding different ways and means, and already told, could be vulnerability in the operating system. Okay, there are many ways. There are many ways actually. Some are other means. Okay, the hackers are actually stealing or somehow penetrating to the system and stealing the sensitive information. And now comes to the basics of this particular data. What is exactly we are talking about? Okay, so generally in any context, the data life cycles are in the 3 states. Any given time, the data remains in the 3 states. The first state is data is in transition. That means data is moving from your organization or from your client to the server. Okay. Other aspect, the data is data at rest. That means actually data is stored in the server. That is actually it is the stored state. Now coming to the third aspect, data in operation. That whatever the data you have taken, you are trying to you have stored there actually on that particular data, you are performing some operation. Okay, some operation on that data. So data remains in these 3 states in any given time. So one of the important aspect of that CIA, whatever we talked about, that is the confidentiality. So we know what is the confidentiality means. Only authorized person should able to access the information or the data. But actually the confidentiality is only achieved with the encryption. Let's say most of the time actually confidentiality we attribute to the actually encryption techniques or technology. So it's very clear that as long as you encrypted the data remains in encrypted form, your confidentiality is preserved. Assuming that actually your decryption keys are not in the hands of that particular hacker or wherever you have posted the data. But actually once your data, encrypted data is decrypted, is available in the plain form, then this confidentiality is in the big question. So during that time, your confidentiality is in the big question. So data life cycles and the protection techniques. If you see the data in transition is actually the protected already well established. There are well established protocols. So using the SSL, DSL and VPN, Okay, during the transition, actually you can very well protect the data. This is a very established area and nothing to worry much. Data at rest is also actually protected. The using the AES and blowfish and 3DS, basically symmetric encryption techniques or asymmetric encryption techniques. Okay, whenever you store the data, that time actually encrypt and do not ensure that actually the keys are in safe position. The third point comes to the data during operation. Does it protected? The big question is actually lies here. If data also protected, okay, while performing the some computations, okay, so definitely I can say confidently that actually during entire life cycle of the data is in the encryption form, okay, so that I can say that actually it is protected. So we need to work on this particular aspects. If data is also protected during operation, so the complete data is safe in entire life cycle. So there are actually certain techniques, okay, which supports operations on the encrypted data itself. You need not to actually decrypt to perform the any encryption, to perform the any computation on the encrypted data. The whole my point is here is, so any organization, the data information is important than anything else. Though right now actually we are using the various resources which are located outside, or for that matter I would say the inside also. Whenever you are using the any resources, there are enough number of malicious actors are involved in this particular scene, so they may misuse actually your data. So it is my data is protected within my organization, so I am safe. I am not hosting the outside. Okay, so my data is not safe. It is not like that. Okay, even if you host your data within your data center, okay, there are actually malicious actors. Insiders are more dangerous. There also actually we need to have the some control. Okay, there also if possible compute on encrypted data. Don't give any keys to the actual administrator. Nowadays what is happening? Any database administrator, if you see, he holds the complete control over it. Complete control. He knows. In fact, he only creates your username and password and he gives you. And we never change our username and password. Okay, at least for that matter, we will not change our password at all. Once administrator has given us, and it will remain till we retire. Okay, we do not change. So entire thing in his hand only. And having the administrator root password, actually, he can see the sum of your actually data. It is possible. Okay, so in these two contexts, my main point is in two contexts. Could be using the resources on the cloud, outsiders, or within the organization. Okay, the two areas there is a problem of this confidentiality issues are associated. So there are actually techniques, as I told you. If you perform computations on the encrypted data itself without decrypting, there is a possibility of actually a better confidentiality, because you are never sharing your decryption keys to that particular administrator. You are never sharing these, never storing the decryption keys with the database server. Okay, always the data which is available in the server, okay, on the cloud, let's say for example, is always in the encrypted form only, and you are not sharing any keys to that particular administrator. All encryption, okay, for that matter decryption takes place at your end only. Now you just see the context here. You have not shared your actually decryption keys. The keys are with you only. Okay. So in what way actually what way there is some attacks on your confidentiality of the data? There is no way. At most, any attacker who has attacked that particular server can steal your data. What data he can steal? Encrypted data only he can steal. Okay, or he can modify the encrypted data. However, okay, your integrity or availability of the service you may lost, but still you will not lose the confidentiality of your data, because he is not going to access to your data in a plain form, because he does not have the decryption keys at all. Always the data remains on the encrypted form. So basically operations on encrypted data, there are some mechanisms, algorithms. So these are some of them I will discuss. So homomorphic encryption, CryptDB and Mylar searchable encryption. So this is basically homomorphic encryption is it is analogous to the any other encryption technique. The only extra thing it supports it also allows you to directly perform the operations on encrypted data itself. So that is the only one extra. It also gives you the confidentiality, because encryption decryption is there. Okay, one extra feature it gives you is that it allows computations or calculations on the encrypted data itself. So there is a two types of homomorphic encryptions are available: fully homomorphic encryption and partial homomorphic encryption. In fully homomorphic encryption means all functionalities, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, aggregate, any operation, any normal operation, any mathematical operation, if you wanted to perform on particular the encrypted data, they all are allowed. There is a one researcher called Craig Gentry from IBM, but in the Stanford University. He has proposed this fully homomorphic encryption, which supports almost all type of operations on encrypted data using the ideal lattices concept. So, but actually that was very heavy and too much of computations was required. So, but actually this was way back in the 2000 that time. Now actually these homomorphic encryptions are even being used in the mining, data mining also. Now this area has actually emerged. Now even actually I was going through in the literature, the way we integrate AES algorithm in the processor itself. We brought the AES into the instruction directly. AES algorithm you can use in the form of only a single instruction. So now actually increased in the processor technology and the computational speed. Now they are actually planning to incorporate this homomorphic techniques into the processor itself. If you bring onto the instruction level, this homomorphic techniques, at least one, let's say addition on the encrypted data, only one simple technique. Imagine that you can use that particular as a API, and you can actually encrypt your data. You can host wherever you want it.
Sir, I am wondering whether the result is also in encrypted form.
Exactly. Yeah, that I missed. Sorry. The result is also encrypted form. The decryption, you will decrypt and see your actual result, because he has to compute, and once query is executed means you will get some result. That result is also encrypted form. That encrypted results comes to your end from server to the client. So in the client end actually you are decrypting the only results. Right? Yeah, sorry, I forgot actually mention this. So the other type of homomorphic encryption is,
What is the comparison between the plain text and ciphertext to execute the query?
comparison.
Yes, comparison means execution time, searching time.
Yeah, you are right actually. So there is some overhead is actually associated with the when you are actually encrypting. For that matter, any encryption, it adds some overhead on the actually, either could be in terms of the size. The size may increase.
Yes.
Yes. Due to the size is increasing, sometimes it is possible actually the computation, the comparison time also may increase.
Yes.
There is a slight increase in the computational time. Yes, it is agreed. It is not the same. There is some delta time actually is associated due to this encryption technique. So when it comes to the partial homomorphic encryption, it supports the only few operations. So for that matter, only additive and multiplicative. These are the only two operations are possible with the help of the partial homomorphic encryptions. There are few such homomorphic encryption techniques. I think in next slides they are there. So next is actually another system rather than techniques, I would say, is called the CryptDB. So basically it supports operations on encrypted data, but functionality are incomplete. There are certain functionality actually this CryptDB is not providing. Okay, so what are these functionality? In-depth presentation subsequently I will be giving on the CryptDB. So Mylar, it only actually a system which supports the exact keyword search on encrypted data. And searchable encryption techniques are there. So basically this searchable encryption techniques means so technique which allows you to search on the encrypted data directly without need for any decryption. Such techniques generally we call the searchable encryption techniques. So right now whatever the available the searchable encryption techniques which are actually available based on the exact keyword match. Okay, the proximity kind of techniques are actually not available. Okay, so in this area actually I have proposed a few algorithms. You can go through actually my literature in the in the internet, search with my name and some of the algorithms, some of the proposals, my proposals you may see. So these are the complete corner you can see. These are the some search schemes. Okay, so mostly are providing the some of them are providing exact key match, sub match, and class insensitive, sensitive, regular expressions. Interestingly, here actually I wanted to give. Somebody can take a research actually in this particular thing, that is this regular expression. Till now there is no algorithm, no concept is available which can perform the regular expression evaluation on encrypted data. So somebody can actually focus on this particular area, and this particular slide during my PhD. So here also this particular thing I did, proximity search on encrypted data. Okay, till 2017 end, even still now, okay, no algorithm is supporting proximity, okay, search on actually encrypted data. Okay, this is my actual topic of the PhD. So this fundamentals. So
Sir,
cryptography.
is the keyword encrypted and then searched?
Yes. Here actually I mean to say any computation, search, whatever the operation, I mean to say in entire complete my presentation now onwards is always encrypted only. Okay, encrypted computation, encrypted search, encrypted addition, multiplication, subtraction, whatever. Okay, it is on the only encrypted data. So I will not go much into actually fundamentals of the cryptography. So I need to cover the CryptDB. So symmetric key encryption, encryption and decryption using the same key. And public key cryptography means there are actually two types of keys are available. One is the public, another one is the private. Okay. So there are always it goes with a particular pair. Okay. So next, secure hashing algorithm. Generally, whenever you take a hash of particular data, it is non-tamperable. Okay, it is always one way only. So most of the in our contemporary internet security, either you say your digital certificate or digital signature or the end-to-end encryption, it is happening because of these particular algorithms only. So just for curiosity I am asking, do you know actually this, whenever you are connecting or whenever you are actually opening a particular website, okay, let's say www.onlinesbi.com, okay, so and whenever you are opening, actually what happens, what takes place, why you are actually feeling the online, this particular onlinesbi.com is secure. For that matter, actually your, let's say, Gmail, http gmail.com is secure. Okay, actually what happens means, whenever you try to open that particular page, you type www.onlinesbi.com. Okay, basically this particular request goes to the server wherever this website is actually hosted. So that time actually the server and the client between actually negotiation and takes place. during that handshake technique, the client and server agree upon a particular algorithm and a particular key. Okay, let's say AES algorithm with 128-bit key. Let's say they will agree upon this particular thing, and then they will actually start the session. Before that, actually the actual page will not come to display for your purpose. Okay, so once the page has displayed on your screen, okay, on the top of there you can see HTTPS. Okay, S means actually the secure. The story is not in here actually. Why the S has come means during this handshake, along with that particular page, the server also gives its digital certificate. His certificate actually he gives here. In the browser verifies the authenticity of that particular certificate, which is signed by some third party certification authority. If that certificate is actually valid, okay, then only you can get that HTTPS blue in that color. Otherwise, you will get some cross or untrusted. Okay, some kind of information comes. So that means before actual page comes, lot of things are happening. That's why we are saying the communication between this client and server is actually secure and authenticated. So these are some of the applications of this cryptography. Password logins, encryption, key management, digital signatures, integrity checking. In case of the virus and malware scanning also, these are being used for authentication purposes in the secure web connections, GPG, SSL, SSH. All these things are used. And PKI, public key infrastructure, is actually key in the variety of the main organizations where this particular PKI actually generates, manages, and completely your digital certificates. Okay, and it attributes onto the particular entity. Okay, so this is the role of the PKI infrastructure. Okay, in any my organization, if I have the digital certificate, that means actually it's my own. I am saying to the public, this is I am to the public with the help of this digital certificate. So this is the PKI infrastructure takes care of. Again, here is also same our whatever the cryptography techniques which you have seen, they are being used. There are basically three entities are here. That is this is the registration authority. If you wanted to acquire any digital certificate, you have to register with the registration authority. Then the registration authority will be this information will be passed on to the certificate authority. Okay, once certificate authority is okay, and this certificate authority can again actually verify the validation authority. Okay, always whatever these two guys are doing can be actually validated. Okay, it is always. So these are three entities are involved in the PKI. So this just we have seen. And one more important aspect is, so we know that actually these are the Oracle, DB2, SAP, SAP HANA, MySQL and PostgreSQL. So these are the actually most major vendors in the domain of the actually database. Okay, if you clearly see, none of these database providers are supporting the operations on encrypted data, but encryption in transition is provided, at rest is also provided, but during operation none of them are actually providing. Okay, but recently because of I think this CryptDB, one researcher from MIT actually she has proposed the concept of CryptDB. Now the CryptDB approach, the model, the principle. Okay, with that actually Google is coming up. Okay, it's called the encrypted BigQuery. Okay, so whatever the complete database is encrypted, and it is possible to perform the computations on the encrypted data itself. Okay, this may be if somebody can research in this area, this is a very good area. Some of the approaches for protecting the sensitive data. the approaches could be, logic at the application level, client side you do whatever you wanted, and then post onto the database, okay, using the security communication. But here the issue is always entire database you have to fetch. It's the client side, decrypt, and then you do the some changes or whatever the query if you wanted to. This approach is a very novel and it is not at all recommendable. But in very sensitive areas, you are not going to believe anything as a database server. Let's say for the sake of backup purpose only actually you are using this. In such scenario, if you wanted to modify, if you wanted to execute any query or anything, any computation, you bring entire thing here and you can do the operation whatever you wanted. Because application logic needs to be, you have to change whatever the application is there, that type of logic you have to incorporate here. But there are, based on this, there are some, techniques are there, somebody is using this. Second approach is actually in the database server side. Okay, you can use the stored routines for securing at the server side itself. Generally, majority of the these things right now actually database service providers are doing, because always before storing on the database, you will encrypt first, then store. Okay, decrypt data before actually executing the query. So this type of things actually majority of the cloud service providers or database service providers nowadays actually they are using this technique. Next, coming to the third approach, very novel approach, and this we generally call the cloud access security broker approach. There is something called middle here. This we call generally proxy, and here you have the client, and this is a database server. There is somebody is sitting between. All the encryption and decryption takes place here. Okay, before actually passing on to this particular person. Generally, with the logic at the intermediate level, no need to change application or database. You need not to touch database or application. So at intermediate, we are actually applying all the required security techniques over here. Generally, this we call the proxy. The next demo actually which I am going to give is based on this particular approach. This is homomorphic, just for illustration how exactly it happens. Okay. 39 plus 3 if you wanted to do 42, but actually in the homomorphic encryption it happens like this. That we'll see with the help of the cryptography. But this homomorphic encryption problem is, computation time is very high. But now, due to increasing the processor technology, the better techniques are actually coming up. Partial homomorphic encryption algorithms. This is algorithm actually, which supports the addition of the two encrypted data. And RS algorithm, this is a public key encryption. We all well aware of about it, but actually the spin-off of this particular algorithm is actually it supports the multiplicative homomorphic encryption. At the time of design, actually it is I think initially designed in 1978. That time this people does not know actually it also supports the multiplicative homomorphic property. Later actually they have discovered. And this Ilgamal, again the multiplicative homomorphic it supports. So this is vanilla algorithm, it supports the additive homomorphic encryption. These are some of the partial homomorphic techniques. You can actually, the source is available in the internet. You can download the algorithms and actually you can implement and you can test it. And there are some more other. Majorly if you see all are additive or multiplicative. So these are the only two operations you can do with the help of the partial homomorphic encryption. Now coming to, can I stop here sometime or can I continue? Okay. So the major thing in this particular is that it supports the operations on the encrypted data, the first thing, and also the SQL query on encrypted data, this is first one, and it addresses the basically two things, two threats. That is, the first threat one is, let's say this database server is actually compromised, okay, where you have hosted your data, okay, in the cloud or within your organization. Let's say there is a malicious administrator and who has compromised this database server, okay. Still he cannot do anything because all the data which is available in the database server, okay, are in the encrypted form, okay. Here is, there is a application, this is the proxy side. Second threat it addresses is any attacks all the servers. Your database is compromised, your application proxy side, okay, other system is also completely compromised. Then also it protects the confidentiality of the data, those users who have not logged into the system using the application. So these two, just remember why the only users logged in users data under threat, why not logged in users data is not under threat. Subsequently I will explain you. There is a concept called the key chaining, okay. Because of this key chaining, okay, those users which are not logged into the system, their data, even if entire system is compromised, is safe. Why? Because there is something called password key chaining. That means, okay, from the application, the user is logging into the system to access this database using the password, username and password. His password is used as a passphrase to generate the encryption key. Okay, his password is linked to the encryption key. As long as he not provides any password, his password is not available in the system, the system cannot generate the encryption key. Okay, that encryption key in turn decrypts the actually encryption key of the data which is stored in the proxy. Okay, that way, if somebody bit confusing here, okay, chaining, just remember the password is linked to generate the encryption key, okay. This key which is generated from the password is again used to decrypt the key which is used to encrypt the data, okay. There is a chain in the actually this technique, okay. If there is no password input, let's say not logged users cannot provide any password, okay. So there is no password means you cannot generate any key which is used to decrypt the key which is stored for encrypting the data. So basically the data is organized in this, here is in the onion layers we call, onions of the encryption. Any value which is there, okay, is joined. This is, if you wanted to perform any equality operation on this particular value, okay, any data, basically each value means a data, is encrypted and in a layered manner, okay. Every layer uses the different encryption key, okay, and onion, this is ordered. That means we can perform the range queries on this particular OPO, order preserving encryption, range queries on this particular layer or column if you data is in this particular layer, or any plain just a simple search, okay. And there is a homomorphic addition, okay. These are all operations are possible and any value, okay, for a particular column in the table. You will be very clear once I start actually practically. So basically, we can conclude that CryptoDB is the first practical DBMS for running the most standard queries on encrypted data. So runs queries completely at the server side only. You need not to bring actually for running the queries on the encrypted data at the client side. All your encrypted queries runs on the encrypted data which is stored in the server. Only the encrypted results comes back to the actual proxy, and proxy decrypts again gives back to the client. It is actually 3-tier architecture which I mentioned previously. 3-tier architecture. There is a client or we call application. There is a proxy between and there is a server. Okay, and the queries comes from proxy client to the proxy, and the proxy takes the queries and modifies accordingly. Then that but modified data or query stores in the database server.
So proxy is a part of client or server?
It is intermediate. It is between. Let's say you are here, okay, and you wanted to store in the cloud from your organization, okay, your system. There is another system, okay, through which actually you are storing your data in the cloud. That is generally we call proxy. This generally proxy is used for majorly, the proxy concept is majorly used for load balancing, load sharing, okay, or authenticating the internal users well they are going out of the organization. This purpose generally we know the proxy, okay, but actually this proxy concept, this particular MIT researchers, they have used it for providing the security, okay, in the system. So that is proxy. You just assume there is 3 layers, 3 verticals: client, proxy, and server.
So is proxy not vulnerable to any malicious?
Good question. This we call actually, that's why trusted proxy. That means you have to always host your proxy within your organization. So when the idea is, okay, proxy after all it is also system, it is also liable to be vulnerable, and anybody can attack. Okay, idea is that actually you supposed to host that particular proxy within your firewall. Idea is when you are hosting outside your firewall, outside the world, you don't know what actually happening, where your data is going, what it is going to do. Okay, we are unaware. Physically actually you are completely losing the control of your data. There actually we feel the threat. That's why whenever we give our data outside world, we are conscious and we wanted to encrypt only, then give them. And don't give your decryption keys. Okay, all encryption decryption keys are part of this particular proxy. Okay, every query, every data goes through this particular proxy to the server. Every encryption and decryption technique takes place within the proxy. There are certain limitations, so I thought of for your research it will be used. Okay, so you can integrate RSA, you can integrate
नहीं 4:30 दूसरे प्रोग्राम पे ही जाना है
Bone, no, not Bone additive. One more is there. Okay,
सोता हूँ तो
I don't remember now. You can integrate that actually. Develop the algorithm, compile
सोता हूँ
integrating that source code with particular CryptoDB system and test it. Okay, this is one. And does not support the
क्या
conditions, and there is a computation. Computation and comparison in one query.
कल मिलते हैं
It is not, either it supports any computation or any condition checking only. So this also actually you can incorporate. So you need to change a query such a way, whenever let's say this type of queries are coming as a part of your SQL query, that time anyway you are interpreting this particular query when it reaches to the proxy. In the proxy, then you make the few queries, okay, and send them. But right now this work is not done. They have not done actually this work. Somebody can actually look into it. And also it is not supporting the average function. It's not possible to compute, okay, average on the encrypted data. They will say deterministic DET because this is a weakly weak guaranteed because they are using the simple AES in ECB mode, that is electronic code book mode. There are other OAB, okay. What are others? Output feedback mode, OAB, and CNC is there. Okay, there are total 5 actually. Counter is one mode is there. So total among that actually it uses the ECB mode. Always in ECB mode, one problem is that for any given plain text and for the same key, it always produces the same cipher. As long as your key is same and your plain text is same, it always produces the same cipher with some kind of brute force attack. Okay, it's not completely, we'll say that a weak guaranteed actually. There is some possibility of knowing what that is what we generally call chosen plain text attack or chosen cipher text attack. This type of attacks are possible. Onion search. So basically they are using this algorithm, Song's algorithm on the onion search, but it does not again saying the regular expressions. Okay, one can work on this regular expression. Square root operation also it is not doing. This is one more thing actually. CryptoDB cannot provide any guarantee for users' data confidentiality that are logged into the application during an attack. This is there. Okay. This also you can take up as a research problem. Even somebody has logged into the system, so how to protect their data confidentiality? So the concept these MIT people are adopted is, since they are linking the password of the user to generate the key, okay, this problem is coming, okay, because once he is logged in, he has given his password to log into the system. So using that password, the proxy is actually tapping intermediate, taking the password and generating the keys, which in turn, okay, used to decrypt the key, used for encryption purposes. Okay, so that's why if somebody has logged into the system and their keys are available in the memory, actually basically, okay, in the RAM itself they are available. During that time somebody attacks, okay, and it is possible to actually decrypt. Even if logged in users also, basically it is a key management you have to see. There is something called key management here, and we can go through actually one of my paper, okay, stateless key management. I have proposed actually key management for actually CryptoDB kind of solutions. Okay, you need not to store any key at all actually anywhere. Okay, so this actually already I have addressed. You can just go through my paper. So other limitation, something called whenever you fetch month and year encrypted, does not support to fetch only month or year from the encrypted data date. Always fetches on month and year in one go. If you wanted to only fetch a month or year from that particular column, you cannot. Yeah, this problem is there. Okay, how to increase the performance or minimize the storage? Actually, due to these various encryptions in the various layers, 3.6 times actually the database increases. The size of the database, this increases up to 3.6 times. One can see this how to actually reduce. User defined functions may cause DOS attacks. Somebody is keep attacking, okay, on this particular server. Always proxy is busy with handling this only, nothing else. DOS attack is always possible in any system, any given system. But how to handle this DOS attack? You have to see in any IDS or IPS kind of solution. If you install on the particular system, then easily you can actually manage. It's not a great research problem. And it does not ensure the integrity of the data at server side. This is also a very good problem, because any malicious administrator can delete your data, because your data is with him. Okay, he has the read-write access of your complete entire database. he can delete. So there also you can see how even your data cannot be deleted. Integrity of your data cannot be lost. Okay. So CryptoDB provides only the confidentiality. Okay, this is only the property of confidentiality, not integrity or availability. It does not talk about neither integrity nor availability. But how to incorporate this also you can just see. So another actually after this I will go for a demo. Let me finish 2-3 are there. Okay. Or I can better to break here and go for the demo. From here I will continue. This particular thing I am using as actually proxy. From here actually I am going to connect to the server. Okay. So proxy here actually what I am doing. So I have to run the proxy. Okay, before actually connecting to the server. Okay, so this is the actually command. You can see where I am running the proxy. Right now the proxy is running in my local machine only. You can, as I said, you can host this proxy on the any system. Okay, you need not to host on the same systems. Right now my client, my server, my proxy, 3 are on the same machine. Okay, if you see here, there is this is proxy. What is there? Yeah. So if you see, my proxy is running on the local host 3307. Okay, the proxy address, if you can see 127.0.0.1 3307. It is running on the local host. And in turn this proxy is connecting to the port 3306 where actually my server is running. Okay, just remember these two, 3307 the proxy is running and 3306 actually my server is running. Now I am starting this particular proxy. Now proxy is waiting. Okay, this is actually waiting on 3307 on this port to receive the any command from the client. So just see this command. Now this is the client side. I am trying to connect to the MySQL server. Okay, the username is username is root and this is the host, that is the local host. Okay, where I am trying to connect to the server from this particular client, and password is Malaya, my name, and you see the port which I am connecting is 3307 where my proxy is actually running. Okay, I am connecting to the server through this particular proxy. Actually my server is running, as I just told, on 3306. Now I am actually trying to connect. It is connecting. It has connected. You just see. So the request comes here in the proxy, and in turn the proxy actually modifies and try to connect back to the actually backend server. Now connection is established between the client and server. Okay. Now I can create a database. Database name is, let's say, ERP, something I just taken. Now just you can see the database created. It has come to the proxy. In the proxy also we kept these debug messages, so that actually what is coming to the proxy and what is proxy is giving out, that actually I am displaying here. Okay. So database is created. Now hope you understand this SQL commands. Use ERP, change it to this database. I am trying to create a table, part of this database. Let's say create table TT, and what can I, some roll number, roll number is integer, and some name is varchar. Let's say your marks 1 is again integers, 2 is again an integer. Okay, we'll stop here. So with these 4 columns, actually I am creating a table called the TT inside the database ERP error. Okay, just see. Okay, my table has been created. Again, just for sake of understanding, just see here. My table create request comes to the proxy. Okay, and proxy has actually encrypted the way it has to encrypt this particular columns so that these operations are possible on these 4 columns. Okay, the proxy modifies and changes to perform the computations on these particular columns. So this is what I put actual debug message here. That's why whatever the proxy is giving to server is being displayed here. So now insert some values will insert into values. Let's say roll number is 1, this name is OU, varchar, so I have to give a string. So let's say some marks 1, somebody got 100, somebody got 90. Okay, in 2 subjects. Again problem. Again table. Insert into table. Yeah. No.
Insert into table.
Yeah. Insert into table TABLE TT, right? Table name is? Yes. Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah. Now this particular values are inserted into table. Okay. Again you can see proxy has received. Okay. And it has encrypted. This encrypted complete table is going to the database server. Okay. Now how do I know this? It is actually encrypted and stored. Now let me select from the start from TT. The table name is TT. So see, I got it. The original values. Now tell me what has happened. Now my select query has reached to the proxy. And proxy has encrypted this query, made the new query and given to the database server, and database server is has executed. Okay, and database server has given the encrypted result to the proxy. Okay, and proxy, since it holds the decryption keys, okay, it decrypts and given me back the plain data, original data. Okay. Now let us try to do some operations on it. One more values I will enter so that U1, somebody got, let's say 10 marks and 90. Okay. Now let us, we are talking about some addition operation, let us do it. Okay. So select sum of M1 from TT. After this where condition will apply. So M1 and M2, M1, 2 if you can add, what is the value? 10 and you can check whether it has correctly added or not, you can see. Right? 110. the sum it has become the 110. If you see in the proxy, see all these things takes place. Okay. So you can either use the where condition also. Let's say where M1 less than 20. Somebody got marks less than 20. Can get it. There is only one person who got the less than 20. That is only 10. So where condition less than equal almost they claim that actually 99% 6. Okay. In particular with respect to some application. Actually it is completely working. Okay. And range queries also you can apply. Less than, greater than, between, all type of actually are possible. And which I have tested and actually also you can test it. And right now simply straight away you can integrate this particular CryptoDB to your actual application, your website. And you can test it, all your data. Okay, it is possible. And one important thing actually I wanted to tell you, here keys are with the proxy only, keys are never with the server side. Okay, so that thing. Any other operations if you wish, you can actually test it. Let's say we'll update some data. Okay, update. The syntax I remember, I don't have to set M1 equal to M1 plus 20. Update table, na? Update table. Yeah, right. So now M1 is updated by 20. So that you can see here. A query has come, updated, and the important thing is here, wanted to see is select star from TT, and the updated values are here. Just see M1 and M1 values 2 are actually updated by 10. So like this, most of the things actually I have tested. Whatever the some limitations I quoted at the part of my presentation, actually they are only not working. Remaining things are working. So now I wanted to tell you one very important point. Even if administrator, another our condition is what actually, even administrator who got access to the database server should not see the plain data. Okay. Now as being administrator, I am trying to log into the server. Just see. Now I am closing this particular session. Now again I am connecting. Now I am directly going as a administrator, as a root user. I am now bypassing the proxy. Okay. Now I am trying to connect, okay, to the server directly, bypassing the proxy. Now there is no proxy. No proxy means directly I am talking to the server. Got it? So now you tell me what was our database name? ERT. Okay. Short tables. Even see, he is a root user, he is administrator, got into my account, but he even cannot see the what is the table name which I entered. Okay. Let's see the content. He is administrator basically, trying to see my data. Okay. Let's see. Select star from, because since I don't know the table name, what the table name CryptoDB is giving me? This only, right? This you can see. Completely encrypted data only you can see. He cannot see the any decrypted data. So this is actually beauty of this particular 50 dB. Okay, even if the administrator, even if anybody for that matter, who has targeted the system, got into the system by some means, also cannot able to break your confidentiality of the data at all. Okay. So this is actually what I wanted to present as a part of the CryptoDB, and this CryptoDB is you can actually download from
Sir, can you show that integrity, how does it fail?
delete table here. You are administrator, right?
Yeah.
Delete table. Tell me the command.
Delete table.
Delete table.
TD.
No, there is something else here. Delete.
Table.
Delete from table. Drop होता है ना, delete होता है. No, let's say first content will delete. Content of the table will delete. Delete from
Total table.
table name is this, right? Okay. Gone. Right? Again.
Drop.
Anything is there? No. So this is the integrity. Right? Yeah, but I
Deleted database.
so yeah, this is there, and this is a source actually where you can download your CryptoDB. Okay, this is a source where you can download from the CryptoDB. It is there in the JIT. You can download, experiment, and really the insights actually you can get it. There is a very clear-cut README document is there. Okay, go through the README document, have some understanding on the database side and also Linux usage. Okay, then it will give you the definitely insights. Before this, actually, I will show you some interesting. Sir, actually, it just went out. Sorry, sir. I was showing a root user how he cannot see the confidentiality of my data. Even though he is a root user, but actually he cannot see my data. That's what actually I was showing. Now here I logged in. I will just again log into it. Right now I am connecting to the same server, not through the proxy. I have connected and use the ISRCE database. I gone into the server and show tables. This is the table name. Even he cannot see the name of the table. Actually, the originally is the TT because he is not coming through the proxy.
This root is the
Username, sir. One user.
database user or is it
Database user.
database?
Database user, not the operating system users. Database user, one of the user to enter into the database. Even he also cannot see actually the content of the data. Now that's what actually we have deleted, we have integrity verified. Even this is actually the table name, sir. This is the table underscore HIC. So if you can see, actually we have deleted. This was having this data. This was the data actually you can able to see. The select command. This is the data you can able to see. Here we have deleted the content of the table. We wanted to see the integrity of the how the administrator break the integrity of the system. Yes, he can very well delete the table. So that's why the content have gone. So that's why we are getting here the null. Otherwise you can see this particular encrypted data only. He can do anything whatever he wanted because he got the root and he got the password. Okay, but he cannot actually break into the confidentiality of my data. That is actually the fundamental thing. So you can very well download it from this particular source. Okay, it is available in the JIT. Okay, this is a particular command in the Linux, and there is a very well documented README. Okay, so some of whatever I installed here, actually I have modified many things. So the same thing actually you may not get there. Okay, and also for more details you can see this MIT site. There also you can get some information regarding the cryptography. So just one interesting thing I was thinking to show you this ghost project actually. So basically this is a when you wanted to verify certain things, or whether your system has been especially your username and password, or how they compromised or not. There is a non-profit organization actually who maintains all the compromised username and passwords. Okay, that is actually this ghost project. That is a URL. Okay, so this is a web page. So actually I have tested myself, and better not to use very critical and crucial email IDs here. There is a one threat here is you may take this as an input. Okay, you can misuse maliciously. Okay, that caution I am giving you. Check such a email ID where you are not using for any content or any important purpose, because this may be a trap. Because certain in doing the while forensics, I come across this particular thing. Okay, I need to verify whether certain passwords, whatever the hackers were actually claiming, is he claiming right or wrong? But actually, he was claiming right. So I have entered the compromised email ID here, and whatever the password he was claiming, I know your password. Exactly, it was the same. So whatever he has picked up from here. Okay, whatever he was claiming, it was right. There are, I think he claims how many? Just 1.4005338 This many numbers of username and passwords have been compromised, and they are available with this particular database. Okay, you can go back to your home. You can actually test yourself. If it is there in online, I can show you some of. It is there internet here. Yeah, it is there. So anybody can tell you actually
07141
07141
141 A05A3
very difficult to remember. A0
5A3
5A3
@gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
No, it is my BTech hall ticket number.
It's searching. Something is happening. So here this problem is not completely come up. Yeah. Now again you tell me what. 07 141
A0
A0
5A3
5A3
@gmail.com.
No,
No.
you are safe. No results found actually. So you can actually go through here and you can actually test. I have experimented this. There are many actually got compromised. Okay.
Sir, I have a question.
And just a minute. So these are this many, he gives some statistics, interesting statistics. The count see 9,21,8720. This many people have used the password 123456. That is their password actually. So it's interesting. Just you can go through. One more thing actually I wanted to tell you. There's a Nessus. VAPT started. Yeah, your question here.
Sir, let's suppose I have some, I have already had some Facebook accounts. Okay, nowadays people are, most of them are writing their passwords in some books or storing in their email ID itself, like Gmail.
They are
itself.
storing. There is a Google actually providing a particular account actually exclusively for storing the passwords.
So
Yes.
let's suppose I have some 100 Facebook users, username and password. So how I want to sell these details to some third party.
Yes.
So how to approach?
Somebody, I received recently an SMS stating that he holds 4 crore 960 CEOs, okay, email IDs with him. If somebody wanted to start a particular, project, a company, he wants to actually this information because he need to have that information. Okay, you can very well contact the startup companies and you can sell. That's how actually these online people are gaining, okay, the profit. It's why he is putting a lot of effort, okay, and giving you, and because of whatever your data actually is selling, okay, that is his profit. Your data is his profit. So one more thing actually I was mentioning about the format preserving encryption. So the advantage of this particular format preserving encryption is even after encrypting the data, it preserves the format in size and order. Okay, size also preserved, and if let's say alphanumeric you are actually encrypting, the output of the encryption also alphanumeric. If here the right side example you can see, this is the credit card number. Okay, so in normal case the down below AES, okay, if you have encrypted generally it comes this way. Okay, the size and the format completely has been changed. This format generally what type we will give for this integer, okay, we generally will give if the length permits. Okay, the type of this particular data field name generally will give the integer, but whatever output after encryption we got the alphanumeric. Okay, is it possible to store this one a type declared integer? No. Okay, so to apply the encryption on this particular, you need to change the database. If you use the format preserving encryption techniques, okay, AES plus APE, okay, this one gives you, okay, this type of output. You just see, okay, it preserves the format and the type both, and even by I would say character by character basis. So encrypted data fits into the existing field. You need not to change the database schema. This helps wherein you are using the very legacy security system, very legacy systems, but now you wanted to have the security over it. Something 20 years back software you are using, okay, some database you are using. Are you trying to change any side, either application side or database side? Nobody allow you to actually touch it. Okay, so if you use this type of format preserving encryption techniques, you need not to change the schema at all. Directly you can get the security using this. And actually this type of techniques really works with our either Aadhaar systems, okay, and also in a medical data, okay, already legacy systems if you are using, there actually it is very much useful. And there are some algorithms are available. I have not listed here. Yeah, one listed I have here. Programming.
So this is only for text.
This is text and as a numeric.
No, like not for images.
No, not for images.
Non-relational.
No, only for text data. Order preserving encryption is there. Okay, basically even after encryption it preserves the order. This is very useful when you wanted to perform the range queries on the encrypted data. I mean to say range queries from this range to this range. So once you have encrypted, okay, the value of A 10 you have encrypted has become X, 20 you have encrypted has become Y. Okay, if you use this OPE techniques, even after encryption, okay, the Y is always greater than the X. That is, if P1 less than P2, then C1 also should be less than C2. So this is the concept of order preserving encryption, and this has been used in our CryptoDB. Searchable encryption, I already actually mentioned about this. Search is possible on encrypted data. And blockchain, I was just talking about. It is basically a distributed ledger technology. Okay, wherein you wanted to persistently, consistently, tamper-proof way in a distributed environment. If you wanted to store the data in such scenario, actually we use this blockchain technology. It is basically a decentralized distributed ledger technology. Decentralized distributed ledger technology, nothing but actually blockchain. Okay, so it always works with the peer-to-peer network. Again, decentralized, my meaning is, okay, the same copy, the same information is located in the different geographical places. Okay, that is. And distributed means the same copy is stored everywhere. The ledger means basically a no, ledger means not a chain. Transaction, basically, you can say some transaction. That information actually you are storing. So no, there is no single trusted proxy. So this is actually giving some trust. Okay, decentralized. Let's say there is one person, he can actually modify. Take the banking example, or in a particular in our registration department, one particular tahsildar or somebody. He holds the entire data with him. He can modify at any time. Okay, if end of the day you got the registration, okay, that registration copy has been authorized, authenticated, okay, verified, fine. Now that registration document you are actually putting in the blockchain in a distributed manner. Imagine nobody can change that, because it is available across the different places. This single man cannot, even if it changes here, that change has to be reflected in all other places wherever this copy is reflected. Then generally we call the consensus algorithm. Any changes if you wanted to make to this blockchain, you need to have the consensus, run the consensus algorithm. More than 50% of the peers which are actually involved in the network, okay, have to agree to add or change any block into this particular block. So always each and every block contains the previous block hash and its timestamp. Okay, and every block contains all the transactions of all the blocks. Okay, this is the transactional data and its hash, and these two hashes, one hash, and this is the root hash. Okay, so you see, if I am changing here, let's say the hash of this particular one, so that time I need to change its hash and here hash. So in a blockchain way I need to change. It is quite impossible, and it has got the many applications to it. So I am not going in depth of it. So some of the this VAPT tools, just note down. I will just introduce, and possibly I will give a brief demo on the Nessus vulnerability assessment tool. This is basically Kali Linux. It is basically a Debian based penetration testing security audit tool. Okay, so you can actually very well download. It's open source, is available. Okay, it is run by this particular offensive security organization or company, and you can download, and it got the hundreds of actually penetration testing tools as a part of it. Okay, download and you can test it. Generally, why do we require any penetration testing as well? First in place, So we wanted to check are there any vulnerabilities present in the system? Are there any weaknesses presenting in the system? So this particular, vulnerability assessment or penetration testing tools contains the complete all the exploits database. We call CVEs. Okay. So the database is there, exploits database is there. So this database, okay, these particular tools takes and applies, okay, onto your system, and if some exploit is exploitable in your system, that is the weakness of actually your system. There is a vulnerable, and that will be, these tools will be reporting it. So this is Linux is one, Kali Linux is one such penetration testing tool, and Metasploit is also one type of actually penetration testing tool only. So this is also Ruby based, okay, got a lot of security assessment and penetration security penetration testing tool, not just a assessment. So see, it contains the 600 penetration testing tools included as a part of it. And whenever you install this particular Metasploit, you better to install on a virtual machine, because if you install on the host machine, it first creates the vulnerable exploit database. Whenever the database is being dumped into your system from the internet, actually your antivirus catches. So it mostly it will not allow you to actually install at all. Okay, better to install in the virtual box. Okay, because your antivirus keep giving you the message. Okay, exactly, that is a vulnerability. Antivirus has to identify it. Exploit. So Nessus, basically this is a vulnerability assessment tool. This is not a penetration testing tool. Assessment. Basically, are there any vulnerabilities are present in your system? This particular tool will assess. This is a client server based tool. You need to install this Nessus on your server. Okay, from the client using that URL of that particular website. You can actually log into it and you can launch the vulnerability assessment onto any remote system which is connected over the network. Okay, let us see its simple demo.